Hello, my name is Creostix, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Adventures, or indeed the first part of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Case 5, Investigation Bit 4, if that helps. So, all great. So, 16th of April, 1:26 p.m., Windybank's Pawnbrokery. Let's go. Exactly from where we left off last time, as per usual. Here we are again at the scene of the crime. Now to thrust these representation papers in Gregson's face and see what he makes of them. Hello again, Inspector. Do you have a minute, please? What is it now? You should go home and get some rest. Here you are, Gregsy. Here are the representation papers. And hat off. Your ladyship! How? We gave her a pencil and just, I don't believe it. How the devil did you get that stubborn little ragadash to sign that? Actually, how does she sign it? Like, can she read and write? Representation writ. I and the undersigned agree to legal representation by the lawyer named hereunder in regard to the following incident. The defendant, Gina Lestrade, alleged offense murder of Baker Street pawnbroker, date of trial 17th of April 10 a.m. Attorney-in-law Ruinosuke Naruhodo. I'm not sure how many street urchins in this era knew how to read or write. Maybe their name. Like, that's actually maybe. I wouldn't. I don't know. Like my only real look into the era is probably the other Sherlock Holmes games, where I think one or two of the street urchins can read, but not all of them, or not most of them. I don't know. I salute you. That is good work, that is. I can see you've been very busy here as well. How about some tea? It's a special blend designed to relieve fatigue. Glug glug glug. And hit the spot, thank you, and so on, yes? Ah, lovely. Well, let's see now. Yes, I hardly feel tired at all. I'm fit as a fiddle, your ladyship. Would it be alright if we investigated the scene of the crime, then? Do as you please. You know where it happened, through that door behind the counter. Yes, the storeroom. That's where I discovered Mr. Windybank and Gina. Right, well, I'll be getting back to business then. Will you be investigating the storeroom as well, Inspector? If I'm perfectly honest, we need to wrap this up before long. Can't afford to spend too much time on it. But there are so many articles to go through, it's taken forever, and even with the lads working round the clock. Which is a problem, because there's another case that the yard needs to investigate urgently. That must be what Lord Strongheart meant by far more serious matters before. So what I'm saying is, don't get under my feet, sunshine. Come then, let us not waste any time. I do kind of want to look into around here if I can. Like, especially, what does this say? Oh, there's the article ledger here and Mr. Windybank's notes, and this photo again. What's this? Looks like as though someone's left a little photographic print behind. Oh, look on the back. There's some writing. Is there? Ooh, show us, Susie, show us. Lutu pud fluili. What the? Lutu pud fuili. Who write? Is he a doctor? That is some handwriting. 15th of February, 10:30 p.m. Article deposited 1 gentleman's overcoat. Loan amount paid £1. Redemption deadline 15th April, 10:30 p.m. A gentleman's overcoat pawned for £1. clearly was a very fine code, in fact, I think. I mean, it is the code in question, yes? Is that a bloody handprint? And what the hell does this mean? Like... paid? Maybe? What? Fuili? What the hell? What is this? Good God, this sort of writing, I can't stand it. Like, when I write, you know, whatever that's called, cursive or whatever, mine is very meticulously simple and clear. Like, it's... I wouldn't call it pretty, mind you. It's pretty rough looking, but it's pretty easy to read, I think. Since I don't really take much shortcuts, I think. I don't know. I'd need someone else to check, I suppose, but like, yeah, I haven't practiced that at all, and it's, oh boy. Like, it's about as rough as it was when I was like, you know, 10. But every letter is actually at least there and doesn't look like an A is an A and not a U or something, you know? It's that's just messed up, my dude. Yes, this must be the ticket for the overcoat that Ginny redeemed yesterday. Yes. And he's still wearing, which belonged to McGilded. I would never have expected the redemption ticket to be handwritten on the back of a photograph, though. It seems Mr. Windybank just used whatever piece of paper we happened to have on hand. That's a really bad practice, I feel. But this photograph of a cat... it looks very familiar, doesn't it? I'm sure I've seen this exact same picture somewhere else recently. Oh, yes, you're right. Very recently. It's the same as the one that Ginny gave us earlier. Of course! I was forgetting that she gave us a print! Oh, come on. You are better than that, I'm sure. Come on. Well, what are you waiting for then, Mr. Haruho? Get it out! Alright, alright. Let the cogs turn. Okay. Yes, they are exactly the same. Are they exactly the same? I don't think they are. I think the angle of the cat, like where it's looking, is ever so slightly different. And so is the papers on the back. They're not exactly the same. Like, there's a bit of a difference in the angle for some reason. It's very similar though, but there's a tiny difference. Also, the snow is again ever so slightly different. Huh, interesting. Well, if the one on the counter was used as a redemption ticket, perhaps the other photograph that Gina gave us has something written on the back too. Look on the back of this print here, there's something written on it. 13th of February, 9 PM, article deposited 1 small box. Loan amount paid 10 shillings, redemption deadline 13th of April 9 PM. So, this photographic print is a redemption. Oh, question. If the deadline is always 2 months, is it still always gonna be, like... Because... okay, this sort of thing bugs me, right? Because, 13th of February to 13th of April is not the same amount of days as would be from 13th of April to like 13th of, you know, June. Because there's a different amount of days. Like that was bugs me. Like, it's not the same amount of time. 2 months in a manner of speaking, but yeah, like I had once this this job that was 6 months long, right? And they didn't count it in days, but they counted it instead in, you know, the exact same date in 6 months from now, like, you know, from you know, 12th into 12th, right? Which I found very peculiar, because then that would mean that it's a different amount of days depending on which part of the year you start. You know, like if that half a year includes a February, for example, there's a day or two or something less than it would be in a half a year without a February. That always bugged me. Like how come a thing as bureaucrat, like I was working for like the government then. Well, yes, in a small tiny bit of the government, but still, like one would imagine the bureaucracy to be extremely tight and rigid and exact, and it's just like, oh, it's just the same day in a different month. I'm like, that's not necessarily like it would be a different amount of days depending on which part of the year. It always bugged me. For an article that was deposited 2 days prior to the incident on the omnibus, it would seem. Yes, a small box. That doesn't tell us much about it, does it? Perhaps it contains some valuable mementos. I can't help wondering. Presumably Mr. McGilded never redeemed the article in the question since he still had the ticket. So isn't it possible that the box is still present somewhere in the shop? Ah, yes. If it's something McGilded deposited, we need to investigate. A redemption ticket, handwritten notes, backup photograph, yeah. So... But it would be just beyond 2 months, so the box is probably within here. I've got it! These 2 photographs hide an amazing secret! That a cat is cute? Yes, it's an amazing secret, I know. Full agree right here. A secret? What does she mean? You must tell us, Iris, at once. Do you really want to know? Yes, we need you to tell us all you know about this pair of photographs. Yeah. Is it like a stereoscopic picture, you know? Like into a stereoscope on the right there? So Iris, about these 2 photographic prints. The one we found here on Mr. Windybank's counter and the one Gina gave us before. What is this amazing secret you mentioned that's hidden between these 2 identical prints? If not identical, probably a stereoscope picture, yeah. Actually, that's not quite right. Sorry? If you look carefully, the two prints aren't the same, not exactly. They're not? Come on, Drunusuke. Have another look at them now. Have we heard this music before in the other? Like, this is a very similar music to the other Ace Attorney games, this one. Which I like immediately. Can you see that they're just slightly different from each other? I think so. It's very subtle, though. But what's the reason for the subtle difference between the 2 prints? Ah, well, it's because they're a set, you see. No, I don't. This pair of photographs is meant to be used in a stereoscope. I got it! Lovely! See? I was listening. I hope. Everyone in London is raving about them at the moment. Ah, stereoscope. Why do I feel as though I've heard that word before recently? Oh, yes, that's what Mrs. Sholmes showed us yesterday. You see, there it is, just over there. Ah, yes, of course. That magical machine that makes pictures look almost real enough to touch. Heh. Well, actually, it's quite possible to see the same depth in pictures even without one of those contraptions. What, really? Do you know how a pair of flat photographic prints can appear to have any depth in the first place? No, I have no idea. Oh, wonderful, then I'll be able to tell you. Cool. Let's go. She's over the moon, bless her. Should we let her explain, though? We really need to carry on investigating the scene. I, for one, simply have to know. Alright. Whoa, okay, we took a turn here. Cool. How will stereoscopic prints work? Have you ever considered, Runo, how our eyes see depth in the world around us? Well, I just opened them and it works. But the reason it works is because we have two eyes. Two eyes? Shocking. If you try closing just one eye at a time, I think you'll see straight away. What you see with your left eye, what you see with your right eye, are ever so slightly different. You get a different view with each eye. Yes, the position of objects seems to shift slightly. Exactly, and in your head, your brain uses that shift to estimate depth as it merges the two views into one. That's how we can sense depth in everything we see. But can we sense death, though? I sense death because it's an Ace Attorney game. Ah, my brain really is amazing, isn't it? It does so much without telling me. Ah, I think I see. So the pair of photographs consist of a left eye view and a right eye view. Is that right? Oh, well done, Susie. You're so quick. So if you can persuade your brain to merge the two pictures together in your head, you'll be able to see depth in these prints. Yes, Runo, you're beginning to understand. And a stereoscope's function is to act as your brain and allow you to do just that. Yes, but as long as you have two images, two eyes, and one brain, you can actually do it yourself without needing a stereoscope at all. You can? Really? Like cross-eyed. How to view stereoscopic prints. Let's try it. Let's see if you can view this pair of prints without the help of a stereoscope. Oh yes, I'm dying to have a go. Susato-san really loves this kind of thing. You need to be able to cross your eyes. That's the main thing. Can you both do that? Cross my eyes? I think I can. Watch me and see if you can copy. Make your eyes do this. Alright, let me try. Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo? I don't know if I am. I may have seen some really weird corners of the internet where everything bad is cross-eyed. I don't know. Or bad, but not safe for work, yes. Cool. Right. Wonderful. Now it's your turn, Runo. I don't wanna. The trick is to concentrate on looking at the bridge of your nose with both eyes at the same time. Not exactly an easy task when two people are staring at you cross-eyed. Alright, that's enough practice. Now let's try looking at the prints. Start by staring at one print and slowly crossing your eyes. You should see two overlapping images like this. If you try it now, Runo, I'm just going to have to give it a try, I suppose. Did the print split into two images for you? Now the next step. What are we doing? Why? Is to just put the pair of prints side by side like this and then try crossing your eyes again. Right. The prints should slowly merge together until they form a new single image in the center. Cool. Oh yes! I think Susato just climaxed because it's such cool optical science. Mr. Naruhodo, it works! I can see in the middle now. Ugh, it looks so real, I could look at it all day. Lovely, but you need to go to Japan maybe. Maybe you can have the pictures with you and you can... I don't understand why I wouldn't advise that. Your eyes might start to hurt. Your turn, Bruno. I don't wanna... Pretend you're looking through the two pictures and slowly cross your eyes. Keep adjusting the position of your eyes until the two images overlap exactly in the middle. I don't really trust that this is gonna work too well, so I don't, you know, like this. Like, it's gonna move them anyway or whatever. Or not. Well, whatever. There, you managed it. Sure. Like, at one point I kind of tried it, and all I can see them as like I see them as like 3 pictures or whatever, and it just looks even more confusing. So now you know how stereoscopic images work. Well, I don't know who discovered it, but it really is quite extraordinary. So what do you think of these stereoscopic prints then, Bruno? Well, I've watched a few of the like, as a kid, I actually watched a lot of the, like, magic image books where, like, it either lifts up or concaves into an image, depending on how you look at them. Those were fun. They had a sense of fun to them. They're certainly amazing, but it isn't easy to get the knack of viewing them properly. No, some people find it easier than others. But that's why contraptions like this exist, for people who find it tricky. Oh, I recognize that. We saw one over there yesterday, didn't we? Right there. If I remember correctly, you press this little knob here. Then set a pair of photographs in the stand at the back and... It's still amazing, even though I know roughly how it works now. Well, London seems to agree with you. Stereoscopes are very popular at the moment. You can find one of these folding contraptions in lots of households in the capital currently. But if these little machines are so affordable, surely there's no need to go around staring cross-eyed at pictures like you hate them. But it's much more satisfying to be able to see the effect with your own eyes. Well, I think so in any case. Stereoscopic pictures, I'd never even heard of them until yesterday. We've certainly learned a lot about them, but I wonder if this knowledge that I'll ever actually need. This better come up in the court, otherwise, I don't know. Okay, anything else? Okay, so, question. This wouldn't be the box in question, or... That's a different music box, I think. That ledger that's open on the counter, that really is enormous, isn't it? It must be an awful lot of work to keep track of all these hundreds of items in pawn. It's too much to think about. Better to sell it all and have a clear head if you ask me. But clearly Mr. Windybank was very careful when it came to the articles in his care. Was he? You know, writing them up behind photographs, you know? That's a music box. Do you have them where you come from, Bruno? Yes, but I've never seen one as large as this in Japan. Oh, well, this will be a treat. Shall we have a listen? Sure. Uh-huh. What do you think? Isn't it pretty sound? It's a beautiful sound, yes, but it's a little hard to enjoy it when all the policemen in the room are giving you fierce looks. Never mind that. If any of them say anything, I'll tell Grixie to have a word. Iris Wilson, Superintendent of Scotland Yard. Not sure a child should have that sort of power. It sounds quite weird. So... Objection!
Evening. Creost, yes.
Evening. Iridium. Thank you for the Prime sub, the entirety of 12 months. Extremely appreciated. That seriously makes my day. It's been a. I promise it does. It's been a long week before this one, and you know, things have been a little, you know, so I can never get used to the notion that anyone wants to throw their Prime or their money or either or in my direction. So much appreciated. How am I? It's a little complicated. You know how it is. So you try to focus on the positive and try to not worry about too much of the you know, what can you say? Not great, but I'm trying. So yeah. And you know, about to, I at least I've gotten to the last case of the video game, so that's something, right? How are you? Well said, exactly. The police are scouring every inch of this place by the look of it. Instructions from the yard are to examine every article in the shop and every ledger and book of accounts. Every article? But that's a ridiculous amount of work, surely. We've been hard at it ever since the shop was declared a crime scene in the early hours. We're sifting through it all, in shifts at least, but still. We'll be working through the night, that's for sure, and even then we'll barely have scratched the surface. Enjoying the rare day off. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear you're enjoying one. I'm just like hacking away at the Great Ace Attorney Adventures, or the first game of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which is just murder after murder after murder and weird, strange events that then end up somehow getting a not guilty verdict. That's how it goes. Oh boy. So long story short, our character is a Japanese law student who came into London in the 1890s-ish, and we're solving crimes and defending people, and Santa Claus is the judge in the courtroom. It's very weird. I mean, he looks like Santa Claus is the point. And we'll be working through the night, that's for sure, and even then we'll barely have scratched the surface. A crime in a pawnbroker's. It must be every policeman's worst nightmare. It's every copper's worst nightmare, you know, a crime in a pawnbroker's. Alright. Same thing with that boy, okay. These shelves are where the pawnbroker puts articles that have been forfeited on display for customers to buy. Yes, it's a really strange miscellany, isn't it? I mean, who would buy this horse statue, for example? Well, sometimes you can find some real treasures among all the junk, you know? The judge in the case looks exactly like the absolute stereotypical, like, Santa Claus. White hair, white bushy huge beard, the round small glasses. It's literally looks like Santa Claus. FJ, hi, welcome. I hope you've had an excellent day and glad to have you. I promise you, man. And then the prosecutor is just like elegant looking edgelord man who just throws chalices of wine into a fire torch candelabra thing and kicks the table with his or like drops his boot on the table. It's weird. Pink-haired girl is cute. Yes, I very much intentionally so, I believe, yes. Are you alright, Runo? Oh, it's just, well, it looks like a collection of useless junk as a whole, but when you pick out individual things, you can't help wishing you owned them, even that horse statue. That's exactly how the pawnbroker works. They're very clever. Right. This is that strange contraption that lets you see pictures of things as if they're right in front of your eyes. It makes you think when Mr. Sholmes gleefully showed it to us yesterday, when we were blissfully unaware that any of this was about to happen. Right. Oh, different police boy. This officer has been staring intently at the wall since before we came in here. Shh, keep it down. Wait, is that bloody? Why? Oh, sorry. Mr. Sholmes. Yeah, I know. This is, this game has a character called Sherlock Sholmes. Which is, yeah. The difference being he's an idiot. He has excellent observational skills. He notices the tiniest glimpses and details, but he always makes the most horrible, terrible, wrong deductions from them. Like, he just, like, goes into an absolute garbage fire, like, oh, it was a snake inside this little ventilation shaft that even though it's the wrong color and it's actually wouldn't work because it's a strangulation snake and not a venomous one, and then we need to fix it all, and you know, it's quite something. Like our puns, yes, we do. There's a major clue just here. Really? Then we must tell Grexy at once. But as soon as I report it, that'll be it. I'll be stuck here even longer. Stuck here? What do you mean? I haven't been home in 2 days already. I need another constable to relieve me and take over my shift. Ah, they really have a tough time, the British police. That doesn't stop us investigating though, does it? No, I suppose not. I'm fairly sure it was the calendar he was peering at. Yeah, it looks bloody. Yeah. Ah, look here. That the bullet? Oh yes, a bullet hole, and I can see the bullet still lodged in the wall. Why haven't we taken the bullet? Or the police taken the bullet? Yeah. Presumably, Mr. Windybank wasn't practicing with his revolver in his spare time. Ah, well... Mr. Sholmes likes to practice in his drawing room whenever he can. He's very patriotic like that. Sorry? It's all there in the Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, you know. Isn't that right, Iris? Ah. Did I write something like that? Partly in jest, perhaps. In jest? Well, it doesn't do it often. It's quite a dangerous path. So, Iris Wilson is the roommate of Sherlock Sholmes. Kind of like a father figure is Sherlock. And Iris apparently has been writing the Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, which are like worldwide popular, based on the journals left to her by his father, who used to be a sidekick as well of Sherlock Sholmes, right? And also, Iris doesn't know that his father is super duper dead in Japan, poisoned by curare and stuff. It's an oopsie doopsie, I say. He doesn't do it often. He shouldn't even do it once. Forget that for now, Runo. Let's examine this bullet. Yeah, sure. Let's do some bullet examination. Yes. What's that around the bullet hole? Is it blood? I should think so. Yes. Suspicious red stain on the calendar. Maybe it's raspberry juice. Ah, she's the Watson character, sort of, yeah. With the difference that her father was actually a medical doctor, John H. Wilson, but he died in the first case. Like we never saw a single line of dialogue from him. And Iris is essentially the Watson character, therefore, with the difference that I think she is a child genius who is also a medical doctor. It's kind of weird. Don't ask. I don't quite know. She's like 10. But more importantly, she's like an inventor. Like she built a colorful smoke grenade launcher. It's you know, stuff. Aha! I may well be able to help with that. What? Fair enough, mistake, man. Yeah. There's nothing like the sight of blood to get the blood pumping, is there, Bruno? You're 10! Don't get blood pumping from blood. Come on. I have a feeling I'm as bloody-minded as you, Iris. I'm afraid the sight of blood makes my blood run cold. There you have it, you see. When it comes to blood, we're all different types. Right. Yes, what a scientific observation. So you need this. Oh, no. What is that scary-looking thing? Hurley and I haven't actually come up with a name for it yet. Is it a blood-type gun? But as soon as you see it in action, you'll understand what it does. Is it a blood-type gun? Watch. Oh, goody, we're gonna die. Lovely. Well, send my best to, you know, someone at home in Japan. Do we know anyone in Japan? Because everyone's dead. Like, Kazuma's dead. Wilson's dead. Professor Mokotoba is deathly ill. Send my regards to the judge in Japan. Okay. Oh, the color of the bloodstain has changed. Now it's Hulk blood. Has Hulk smashed his way into the crime scene with a bullet? Maybe. Learn next time in the next Bat channel and the Bat Adventures of the Batman. Yes. There, does it make sense now? No. Yes, I think I'm starting to understand. Green blood is green blood. Yay. Good. It works on the principle that different people have different types of blood, you see. Yes, how wonderful. The chemical it fires combines with the blood and makes it change color. So you can identify whose blood it is that you're looking at. In a flash. Like Flash in DC Comics or Flash in something. What a fabulous invention, Iris. Isn't it? I bet Ginny would say it's bleeding great. So whose blood are we looking at then? She wouldn't know yet, right? Well, all the chemical does is turn the blood different colors, so... Just find someone whose blood turns the same color and you'll know who it belongs to. No! Iris, no. That's... no. What you've done is, according to the colors of your gun, you've narrowed it down into one of 4 options of types of blood. Which, there's more than 4, but that's beside the point. Just... no. It's more like 2 flashes, really, isn't it? 1 flash or 2, this could well turn out to be a very valuable clue. Sure. So we must make a note of it in the court record. Question, Susato. I don't disagree. Like, she's my judicial assistant. We're both from Japan. Would a British court of law accept into evidence analysis performed by this kid we happened to meet a couple of months ago, who has a gun that turns blood into colors? I have some doubts about that one, though. Just saying. Like, I don't think that's proper criminal forensics, you know? Just, I have this feeling. Vague, small feeling. A sample of blood analyzed with a special chemical indicator developed by Mr. Sholmes. Wait. Isn't it developed by Iris Wilson, though? Sholmes is many things, but a mechanical genius is not one of them, I think. That is a weird... okay, like, again, I can't just emphasize this enough. Sherlock Sholmes is a bumbling idiot in this game. Like, he's such a moron that it's kind of dangerous. This is case 5, right? Yeah? During this game's previous 4 cases, in 2 of those, Sherlock Sholmes, because of his absolutely and completely wrong, massively, just disastrously bad deductions, has pointed the finger as the murderer at the innocent party. The police believe him because he has this, like, reputation through the, like, fictional stories, or stories that may or may not have in some form happened, kinda maybe, written by Iris. The police believe him, therefore they charge the innocent people with those murders. And considering the reputation that Sherlock Sholmes has by the time we've gotten here, and gotten not guilty on those 2 accounts, it stands to reason that Sherlock Sholmes probably has dozens upon dozens of people who are innocent sent into jail, no, not jail, into the gallows for murders that they never committed. Like, that's how dangerous Sherlock Sholmes is. Like, he's so dumb and so wrong that it's dangerous for everyone. And he lives in this fantasy of being a great detective. And everyone believes that fantasy as well, so he doesn't stop himself from pointing the finger at innocent people at all times. And on top of that, he then claims, "Oh, I never pointed a finger at anybody. I never said that you were the murderer," even though he did. And I have a very dark outlook on the character. I think he's the most evil person in the entire game. Like, mentally disturbed in a way that he is a massive, massive threat to every person near him, because he's just gonna point a finger and then they die. Because the death penalty is a thing in this world at this time. It's pretty dark stuff, and the game just, like, plays it up for laughs, and I'm like, Jesus, that's evil. That's like chaotic evil stuff, like, whoa! Sholmes is a big bad to me, yes. The game itself considers him a good guy, I think, and I find it really bizarre. Like, it's so bizarre that I can't get around this. Like, the game has at all times, like, played Sholmes as a good guy who bumbles about and gives us a deduction minigame to fix his problems. Like, our job is to do, like, a minigame to fix his deductions when them happen when we're nearby. To, like, make them actually correct. Because, as I mentioned, he has excellent powers of, like, noticing stuff, but he always makes the wrong deductions, right? So the game plays him as this, like, bumbling fun fool who's still a good guy. And the game never addresses this problem, that how many people has he sent to his death, including us once, almost, until we proved ourselves not guilty, and a different Japanese guy whose name escapes me, who also we got proven not guilty after he pointed the finger at them as the murderer. And he just, like, laughs it away, like, ha ha ha, lol, ha ha, oh well, ha 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 ha, and then just, like, the game moves on from this stuff. And I'm like, huh, that's pretty weird. And I don't get it. Like, I've been expecting the game to take, like, a dark turn as him the big bad. But no, he was shot in this case already, and he's just, like, out of the picture and, like, as a side victim. And he's just our, like, and we live just above him because he, like, rented us his like, attic room or whatever. And it's bizarre. Like, I can't get around how bizarre and horrific that is. Sounds horrific and is horrific, and the game never ever ever addresses that, not once. It's bizarre. It's so weird. Alright. Let's keep testing and adding the results of any other blood analysis to the portfolio. as long as I have reagent left, sure. How many shots of reagent do you have? Green blood. It just seems wrong somehow. Well, it's not green in the picture. Oh, there's all sorts of different colors. There are pretty pinks and purples too. Oh, there's more than 4. Good. Okay, good. For a hot second I was worried. Like I said, everyone's... Oh, everyone's... Oh! You... Okay, I think I've been confused by the word blood type. Because I think she's referring to, like... essentially like a DNA chemical analysis of blood, which is quite ahead of its time. Alright. I'm gonna leave a lurk, my G, back in a bit. Hey, have an excellent lurk, and I hope it all goes good. And every lurk and every single thing is super appreciated. And Iridium, one more time, thank you for the Prime sub. I can't explain in words how much it really means to me. Like, it's... I am constantly swimming and diving in self-doubt about doing content at all. Like, the small voice in my head keeps telling me it's all garbage and I should just stop doing it. So every single sub, every single little, like, that sort of thing, it means the world to me, and I want you to really... I hope I can convey that. Thank you. Alright. I'm fairly sure this contraption was here yesterday as well. More than deserve it, you're an excellent I try to tell myself that I'm onto something, but excellent is high praise, but thank you. Seriously. Here we are, though I'm not confident I can get it closed again. Oh yes, that's a folding stereoscope. Really, this is a stereoscope. I feel like we've covered this yet. Oh. Mr. Sholmes showed us a picture yesterday that you were supposed to be able to see in 3 dimensions. But for that, he used a great big contraption over there. Ah, well, that's for use in public houses and places like that. It contains a carousel with all sorts of pictures inside. But this little thing is a much simpler design for use at home. There are special shops selling prints you can use in them. I have a little collection myself. I wonder if I could make money out of these in Japan. It would beat keeping my toilet sparkling clean anyway. Okay. I think that's everything. I was for a hot second worried that the inside of this bit of the shop would be kind of pointless to explore, but it was absolutely not. Since, like, we explored it the other day already, and I was worried that there wouldn't be too much new here, but there super was, and I'm very happy about that. Behind that door is the storeroom, isn't it? That's what Grexy said. Yes, and that's where I saw that dreadful scene last night. Through the little window in the door. That looks a little high to be lethal, though. I mean, I guess there's a big artery in there, but... Mr. Windybank face down on the floor with Gina beside him. As the accused's legal representative... I'm going to say something that I hope you won't take offense to. That little voice in your head telling you that you're going to go to this outside weakness that has forced its way into you, so fix into it for excellent shit creator. I try to. I feel like I probably mentioned, like, so it's not a secret that I have depression. So you know, I think I've mentioned it on Hayes' streams as well, and that's kind of like a big part of where it all comes from. So I try to not listen to it, and I do, even if sometimes my stuff might be off the mark or something. I wouldn't say that I every day. Okay, enjoying what I do is I usually enjoy doing this. This I find interesting and meaningful and fun. And on top of that, it feels like I'm doing something with my time that's worth doing. Like, because of my health issues, I don't really have the capacity to actually, like, do labor, if that makes sense. Like, work. So, doing this as like an attempt to try and make something out of the time I do, like create stuff that's, you know, I record on the interwebs, on the YouTubes. Oh, Iridium. If I didn't mention already, I just made partner on YouTube a few weeks ago, like a week or two ago. So, woo. You know, the 1,000 subs and whatever. So that's something, right? It feels like trying to get Twitch and YouTube and all this stuff ever so slowly forward is me using my time in a way that produces something, like is trying to create a future, at least in some sort of tiny way, as a potential maybe, like a dream, you know? So, therefore, like, doing this makes sense, like, it feels meaningful. If I wouldn't be able to do this, I'd otherwise just, like, I'd sit at home, watch at the walls, and play on my own something, because again, health issues being what they are. So, this is something I'm able to do, at least, and it feels meaningful to do. And the YouTube thing, I grinded YouTube for, like, for years and years before Twitch, so that's why I got that to be 1,000 subs and whatever to reach the partner numbers. So that took like four or 5 years, I think. And but yeah, thank you for saying that, and I don't take offense to that's for damn sure. And hey, thank you. Yeah. As the accused's legal representative. Oh, and if you're not on my Discord channel, go feel free to go there as well. I don't remember if you are, don't feel forced to. There's like, you know, if you wanna. I have like a, you know, it's like a 22 people Discord, so it's a slow one, but yeah, or a quiet one, but so it goes. You know, I have a place in Discord as well, a small one. As the accused legal representative, you have the right to examine the scene, Mr. Naruhara. We must make a thorough investigation. Yes, of course, and we will. Behind that door, that's the real scene of the crime. Honestly, there's a bullet with blood on the calendar. I think there's both scenes of the crime. Don't worry, if there are any clues in there, I'll find them. Actually, I kind of believe that. She seems determined and talented. Okay, so do we need to, like, move inside this here through there? Yeah. Windy Bank's storeroom. There's a bunch of things that could fit a small box. Maybe this box? It's opened, you know. 16th of April, Windy Bank storeroom. Right. Poor Iris, she's clammed up completely. Iris is bound to find this difficult. After all, Mr. Windbank's life was taken in this very room only last night. Well, Sholmes was shot in the other room and she was fine, so... Ah! Okay. Wait, Inspector. What is it now, Sunshine? You took one look at me and tried to run away. You think a Scotland Yard inspector would run away from some jumped-up little defense lawyer, do you? Well... I've never seen her ladyship looking like that before, is the thing. I didn't know what to say to her. So you weren't running away from me, you were running away from a 10-year-old. Right. I'm afraid this is all a little much for young Iris. Some gentle reassurance might go a long way, perhaps, Inspector. Huh? I'm not sure he's the diplomatic type. Or psychological diplomat. Don't trouble yourself unduly, your ladyship. I mean, at least you're not dead, are you? Oh, Jesus. I kind of told you not to try the... Okay. I don't think that went very well. Why? Look, I'm in the middle of an investigation here, Sunshine, and I told you not to get under my feet. That he did. And we have investigating to do ourselves. Yes. I'd like to hear more of what the socially inept inspector has to say. Oh, Hurley. And inquire into how Mr. Sholmes' operation is going. I'd like to examine things first. Maybe we'll ask him about stuff we find. The gun. This is a revolver, a real one. Yes. And quite possibly the murder weapon used to take Mr. Windybank's life. Possibly, but, What's the matter, Susie? You and Bruno look like you're about to faint. Well, it's just that I've rarely seen a gun in the flesh. And I've had issues with guns in the past. Oh, true. Yeah, in the first case, yeah. One. But anyway, we saw Mr. Windybank with this yesterday, didn't we? Right. I shall have to take my own life. Yeah, I mean, he did foreshadow his death quite a lot. It must be the same gun. And last night, when I looked through the spy hole in the door in the storeroom here, that was the same gun I saw in Gina's hand. Eye for detail, my dude. Mr. Windybank told us that he only ever had a single bullet loaded in his revolver, didn't he? Well, it's empty now. The one and only bullet he had in his gun has been fired. So we can be fairly certain that only a single shot was fired from this revolver. The police have marked the position of the body with a chalk line. Poor Mr. Windybank, he was a nice old man. Well, he was shot just once through the heart. That didn't look like through the heart. That picture looked very high to be a heart shot. Like, the heart is like, you know, not there, that's for sure. Unless he had the heart of a racehorse, meaning it, like, went all the way up his shoulders. Most likely the fellow died instantly. He wouldn't have felt a thing. This must be his blood, then. Ah! Reagent, let's go. I don't like to ask us at such a wretched time, Iris, but I wonder if perhaps... Don't worry, Susie. I'm ready for action. So it would seem. Blue. So now we know the color of the chemical turns when it reacts with Mr. Windybank's blood. And it doesn't match our analysis of the bloodstain we found at the main shop. No, but let's add this sample to the others we've already collected anyway. Blood samples portfolio. Interesting. So how does like, oh, like actual screenshots of the, oh, interesting. Alrighty. Iris? Don't worry, I'm alright. But we must find the true culprit. Yes, absolutely. Right-o. Out of all the articles in the storeroom, this is the only thing that shows any sign of being ransacked. Ah! What is it, Iris? That's... That's the box file that my manuscript was being kept in. Oh! Iris's unpublished story, The Hound of the Baskervilles. Surely that's not what all this... They might be valuable, though. Like, people read them all over the world, you know? Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you. We must check inside the box at once. Yes. Okay. Ah. It was there. Iris' story was there. Really? It was? When you say it was there, do you mean it's still there, or was there before it was taken away and stolen from there? That's a very weird way to put it, but alright, alright. I assume it's like, is still there now. Yes. I mean, of course I believed Hurley when he said he deposited it here, but still. It's a relief to actually see it. Really, because that's not a very well-hidden frown. A long, unpublished story that Sholmes deposited at the pawnbrokery of the victim, Mr. Windybank. It's entitled The Hound of the Baskervilles. Again, we never knew why Susato knows its name. Like, that bit is very weird. So can we, like, read the whole thing? Let's go. The Hound of the Baskervilles. How did Sato-san know the exact title of this unpublished story? I suppose I'll just have to wait until she's ready to explain this to me. Why couldn't she just tell? It's so weird. I'm so sorry. I don't get it why she won't tell us. Alright, for some reason the items themselves don't get checked off with the examination bits. That's a little weird. Right. Doesn't look like there's anything else to examine here, so... Look at all these articles that have been deposited. The room is stuffed full of them. I can't believe how many there are. A bicycle, a gramophone, musical instruments, even some enormous paintings, look. Pieces of different people's lives quietly gathering dust in here together. There's something very peaceful about the atmosphere in here. Nah, if you say so. Or at least there would be, if not for the chalk outline on the floor and the policeman shuffling around. And the blood! Don't forget about the blood. The blood is also kinda problematic. Just, you know, just a thought. Yes. Not much I can do about that, Sunshine. Right. So that's everything? Okay. Let's have a chat with Gregson. The scene of the crime. So, Inspector, what do you make of the crime scene here? Pshaw! You got eyes, haven't you? Use them! It is what it looks like, nothing more, nothing less. Iris, could you lend me a hand? So, Gregory, what do you make of the crime scene here? Oh yes, your ladyship, do allow me to humbly explain. Last night, at shortly after the hour of 1 o'clock in the morning, Scotland Yard police attended the scene. The one and only door to the storeroom was found locked from the inside. So it was locked from the inside. The lock appears to be broken now, though. Was that the police officer's doing? Quite right, ma'am, quite right. We took the liberty of smashing the door in as humbly as possible. Oh, as you can see, the victim was discovered prostrate on the floor, thus wise. And next to the aforementioned body, we discovered the vile gutter child. Are you talking about Ginny? She's my friend, you know, Inspector. Mr. Strahd, the hapless girl, was curled up on the floor, dead to the world. She's still alive, you know. Yes, when I saw her, she appeared to be unconscious. I'm afraid to say she had the gun that was used in her hand. No. Presumably it's the gun that's still down there on the floor now. In her pocket we found the key to the door as well. What? The key to the storeroom? And you say the storeroom had been locked from the inside, Inspector? Correct. All of which leaves her ladyship's friend in something of a sticky situation, I'm afraid. Obviously, my personal opinion is that it's all some sort of a misunderstanding. Of course it is, Inspector, of course it is. Sholmes' operation. Grexy, do you know anything about Hurley? Is the operation finished? Is Hurley alright? Is he? The thing is, don't mince your words, Inspector, please. You don't mean to say that Mr. Sholmes is... No, the operation's done and dusted. It's just that, well... Out with it! Yes, ma'am. They used something called a general anesthetic. It's the latest thing. Renders the whole body insensitive. The whole body anesthetized? Is that even possible? It means the operation can be completed while the patient is fast asleep. Goodness, in the Empire of Japan we can just manage to provide laughing gas for a tooth extraction. Trouble is, the latest thing isn't always the greatest thing, if you follow my meaning. They couldn't get the medication to work at first, so it took hours for him to nod off, so I hear. And now that the op's finished, they can't get him to wake up, apparently. Oh my! No one knows if it's the anesthetic still in the system, or if the block's just plain exhausted. But anyway, all they can do is stand back and watch until he comes round again. Hurley. The moment he opens his eyes, your ladyship, I swear I shall get word to you. What a surprise, even in matters of life and death, Mr. Sholmes has to do things his way. Alrighty, seems like a plan. So what now? Do I present you with the stuff I just found? Like, Would you want to see the manuscript? Is that what I think it is? Your ladyship's latest? Yes, my latest story. It's called The Hound of the Baskervilles. A most fascinating title, your ladyship. Fascinating, and I don't suppose... Would there be any mention of my humble self in the tale this time? Good question. I can't really remember. I see. Well, why would you, your ladyship? And I'll just await its publication with eager anticipation. You needn't worry, Inspector. I'm sure if you do appear, you won't be doing anything particularly remarkable. You looking to be arrested, Sunshine? I didn't mean it like that, and even if I did, you wouldn't have bitten her ladyship's head off, would you? Inspector Gregson, could you give me your opinion about this, do you think? We don't tend to share, Sunshine, not with the general public. Ugh. In that case, Gregson, how about some herbal tea? Glug glug. Ah, lovely. Ta very much. Really hit the spot, your ladyship. You don't mind sharing that, then? Okay, so that's that's the, like, he doesn't, like, the non-response to the wrong stuff. How about this one? What do you make of this? What about here? A redemption ticket for an article deposited here, is it? Looks like someone ran out of office stationery and wrote the ticket on whatever paper was to hand. Yes, this is the ticket for McGilded's overcoat, the one that little diver turned up with yesterday. Oh, actually, no, it's not. Really? Think you know better than me, do you? No, I didn't mean to, Bruno's right, Grexy. This isn't the same ticket. Of course it isn't, of course it isn't. I never doubted you, ladyship. So what's all this about, then, if I might be so bold as to ask? This is a second ticket. A second one? It seems that Mr. McGilded in fact had another article in storage here at Windybanks. Is that right? I think we need to discuss this further with the inspector, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh good, because he's ever so easy to talk to. There we go. The second redemption ticket. This ticket was in one of the pockets of Mr. McGilded's overcoat. Huh? You mean to tell me... Yes, there was more than just a music box disc, it seems. I should have insisted on the lads taking it back to the yard and examining it properly. Well, according to the details on this ticket, Mr. McGilded deposited another article here with Mr. Windybank. Yes, I can see it written here. A small box, was it? Do you have any idea where it is, Grexy? Any idea at all? It's another article belonging to Mr. McGilded. It could be an important clue. Well, yes, I suppose it could be. Please stop looking at me with those big turquoise eyes, all full of hope and expectation. It's too much pressure. I'll lose me marbles, I'll go barking. This is no time for dog impressions, Inspector. That's enough sauce from you, Sunshine. There's one thing that springs to mind. According to this ticket, the redemption deadline's already passed, hasn't it? Oh yes, of course. Articles are only held for 2 months. So the small box will no longer be in here then. Well, it might not in the storeroom, I think, but so in like the front, but I think we checked a lot of the spots, but that's right. It's been forfeited. Which means it could be on the shelves in the front of the shop where the forfeited items are offered for sale. Yes, the shelves in the front. We must search. That was my idea for searching them in the first place, but maybe I outsmarted myself again. You're wasting your time. Oh. There are dozens of little boxes out there, hundreds even. We can't possibly know which one might have been McGilded's. That information's not written in the ledger. Ugh. Well, I think we should at least have a look, just in case. Of course, Your Ladyship, of course. Very sensible of you, I'm sure. This is getting old. Okay. Well, I guess that's the plan then. Let's go have a look. Main shop. So anything that we haven't, that the game hasn't has unchecked or something? Nothing so far. Oh, just all of the shelves again. Okay. Yes, this is where all the items that have been forfeited by the original owners are offered for sale. That's right. They've all got little price labels on them, but there are so many. I wonder if the small box his ticket was for is still on the shelves somewhere. The box that Mr. McGilded deposited here just over 2 months ago. Even if it were, finding it promises to be very troublesome indeed. There are so many boxes, it could be any of them. Mr. Sholmes said that a pawnbroker's was the safest place to store anything, more secure than a bank's vault. So perhaps this small box of Mr. McGilded's contains something of very great value. Well, if that's the case, he'd probably have kept it locked. So they need to find every box with a lock and break them all open. Hiya! That's assault again. That sort of misconduct would get you arrested. I won't let that happen. Ah, this takes me back.
Selene, Dufresne! Selene, Davidar!
Bread Truck! Hi! Welcome! Thank you for the raid! Holy moly! How have you been? How was Dead by Daylight? Did you enjoy it? Did you have a good stream? Welcome! And everyone from Bread Truck stream. My name is Creostix. I am a variety streamer from Finland. I play like about everything. And today we're doing The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, and the first game of that being The Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Case 5, Part 4, I think, in the game's, like, you know, numbering system. So, still enjoying it. Cool! Glad to hear. Glad to hear. Oh boy, I'm just like trying to solve a very, very strange case of just stereoscopic images and murder and colored blood and a knockoff Sherlock Holmes. It's quite something. But thank you for the raid. I'm just like, holy hell, that seriously makes my day. Thank you. Oh boyo. Let's see. Anything else I don't think I can really... Should I show all of the blood samples to Gregson? Is that the next thing? Well, hold on, let's just give it a quick... because there's nothing else to, Oh, damn it. I didn't mean to look at the music box, I'm sorry. There we are. Okay, so let's, for the sake of argument, let's move again to the storeroom. He's still here. Do you want to see blood samples? I don't know if you wanna, but... Okay, never mind. I'm quite unsure. White cat photograph number 2. Alright. Well, we're at least, you know, giving him lots of tea. It's important to hydrate, right? That's the... I mean, I don't know. Never mind. I kind of figured that the representation papers would probably not mean much, since he already had seen them, so why would he care, so... Okay. But I hope you had an excellent time playing it. It's always important to enjoy oneself when streaming, Brettruck. Alright, I've shown him everything. I don't think the armband is gonna help. Okay. Did I miss like an obvious clue that the game just told me like where to go? Because I feel like I've done everything I can. I have no idea. Nope, no one here. Nope. Alright. Doesn't seem super helpful, this either. Righto. Yeah, we haven't gotten any other, Should we present her with stuff, or... okay, starting from the top. Would you mind if I showed you this, Iris? It's such a boring old thing, really, but... Oh, I don't really like boring things. Ah. It looks like Japanese modesty is really misinterpreted by young Western children. I mean, who does like boring things? Boring things. No one wants to be shown something boring. That's fair enough. Come to think of it, you're always introducing things with, this is boring, but it's a bad habit, you should stop it. I'll be sure to let the entire population of the Empire of Japan know on my return. Poor Jeannie. This is all my fault, really. But she'll be alright, won't she? In court tomorrow, I mean. I'll defend her with everything I've got. So, she'll be alright, won't she? Am I that bad at instilling confidence? Okay. The way you can identify differences in people's blood like this is amazing. You really are a genius, Iris. I know. I am. If Hurley and I put our minds to it, we could really shake up Britain's chemists and alchemists. And you could shake up Japan's lawyers and judges, couldn't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, for sure, even if I didn't intend to. Oh, my manuscript. I mean, like, maybe this leads us, it's a very recent item, and this is the only person we haven't shown this one yet, so... Mr. Sholmes said he'd deposited it at Windybanks, and he had. But it's so strange. What is it about this particular story? I worked so hard on it. Why would Hurley say I can't publish it? I'm afraid I have no idea. All he can do is wait until he's ready to tell you, I suppose. Or maybe it's because Hurley isn't in it enough. Maybe I didn't give him enough good lines. Yes, maybe. I wish I could say that definitely isn't the reason, but I can't. But we've checked everything, yes? I don't think an investigation scene in this game has, like, stumped me before, and I don't think there's even... there's very little walkthroughs to at least the investigation bits. What have I missed? It's all checked off. Is Gina still in here? 16th of April, local prison, cell 13. Gina doesn't appear to be here. I believe she must be in questioning at the moment. Oh, but wait a minute. What is it, Iris? Well, if you examine the scene here carefully, there's another possibility, isn't there? Ginny could have slipped the key from the jailer when he wasn't looking and escaped. Oh my! Why would she do something like that? It would only make her situation worse. Calm down, Bruno. I was only joking, of course. Oh. You have me worried there. I thought it was a great deduction. Yes, it must be your way with words, Cyrus. You're so wonderfully persuasive. Perhaps you don't fully understand the weight of your words carry. Oh dear, I'm sorry. I suppose a light-hearted great detective is a contradiction in terms. Well, in the same situation, I'm sure Mr. Sholmes would just have thrown his head back and... guffawed? Alright. I'm not entirely sure that's helpful, Mr. Naruhodo. I don't know what that means, so I don't have input. Well, anyway, it looks like we won't be able to talk to Gina for a while. We should try to make progress with our investigation in the meantime. Come along then, Bruno. Come along, Susie. Right. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. I feel like I've checked every possibility now. Like, why would there be anything here? There isn't. The hospital's nothing. Prison's nothing. Sholmes Suite. I mean, I could examine Sholmes Suite, but I don't think there's anything to be gained in it. It's just like, back lore, background lore building, you know? Same thing, Naruhodo Legal Consultancy. What the hell am I missing? Like, I haven't shown my armband to the guy, but I don't think that's the answer. Nope. I'm so confused. Oh, wait. The blood on the thingamathing. Mr. Naruhodo. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's something rather troubling here. I have noticed. The red smear, you mean? Yes, it looks like blood, doesn't it? I wondered if Susato-san had picked up on that. Well, in that case, yes, we need Iris. We should show this to her before we forget. Right, okay, fair, right. I cannot complain too hard when a problem-solving game doesn't hold your hand completely. That's, that's my bad. I can accept that. All right. Present this. Oh, that looks like blood. I would say it's from a gloved finger, almost certainly a glove made of leather. Well, don't worry, Bruno. You can leave the rest to me. Are you sure that doesn't, like, destroy the actual photographic print? Like, it just, like, blows through it? Blue or green? Purple, okay. Look at that. Yes, that's a color we haven't seen before, isn't it? We simply must add it to the portfolio of blood samples. It could be an important clue. Although, it would be nice to find out whose blood these different colors correspond to at some point. True enough. Well, this particular stain of blood... Oh, you've had an idea, haven't you? Do you know whose blood this is? Maybe it's the top hat guy. Maybe. Yes, I have an idea whose blood it is. Not from the color return, but with a little deduction. That's right, I think it's clear. Our Izzy know as well. You first, Runo. Who do you think it belongs to? Alright, I believe that this is the blood of... Crap. The guy I was thinking of is not on the... Okay, because I was thinking about the people. This one, Eggert Benedict, who probably, like, that isn't his real name, but I mean, his finger was pricked when they were fighting over the music box disc, right? So I figured that the same blood could be still on the ticket somehow. Okay, so... Gina doesn't wear gloves, I think. So I don't think it's Windybank or Lestrade. I'm so hard trying to remember if Thrice-Fired Mason was wearing gloves when he died, but I don't think he would have the like, why would he have handled the ticket? So I think out of these it's Magnus McGilded then. McGilded? Yes, after all, this redemption ticket belonged to him. Oh, you don't think... You mean that during the incident on the omnibus? Yes, I expect so. It's a very clear print and no small amount of blood. Cool. Oh, crap. Yeah, but it's not McGilded's blood, it's... Fuck. I'm an idiot. It's the blood of the Mason, because it was his blood on McGilded's hands. So it must have resulted from a fairly serious accident, such as you might have sustained on the omnibus. Wait, but if I remember rightly, no sign of injury was found on McGilded at all. Right, yeah. We're trying to work out where the blood came from, so we can rule out anyone who hadn't been bleeding straight away. Yes, I suppose we can. I'll have to think this through some more. Who do we know was bleeding at the time? Yeah. For some reason I was... Brain. Thrice-Fired Mason. You don't sound very sure of yourself, the way you trailed off there. Well, it was 2 months ago now, that case. And of course I'd never met the victim, so I'm struggling to remember his name. He was definitely thrice-fired, though. The victim of the omnibus case? Yes, his name was indeed Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason. But that would mean that this bloodstain was left on the ticket 2 months ago. Yeah, blood can stay for, you know, under the right conditions, quite a long time. Yes, I think it was. Gina brought this ticket here to Windybank yesterday. The only problem is that the blood is really red still, which I'm not convinced it would remain red on paper eventually. Like, I think it like turned kind of brownish, maybe? I don't know. I'm suggesting that the bloodstain was already on it at that time. So it's a smear of blood from the time that Mr. Mason was killed 2 months ago. Something else is coming back to me now. Mr. McGilded was also wearing leather gloves at that night. Sure. Now I ask you, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about my gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. It certainly does look like a leather-gloved thumbprint, this mark. But we know that Mr. McGilded had no injuries at the time anywhere on his body. From which we can conclude that any blood on the glove belonged to the victim, Mr. Mason. Mr. Naruhodo, you just sound less like Mr. Sholmes. No. My deduction is correct. Sholmes' ones are all wrong. Difference. Minus the quirky slip-ups, I suppose. Or at least I hope. Yes, sorry. Oh boy. Yes, I think you're right, Runo. Very well. Let's make a note of this. Redemption ticket issued from the pawnbroker owned by the victim, Mr. Windybank. The blood on it has been identified. Identified is a big word, but let's say it's been reasoned to almost certainly or very likely to be Mason's. But, you know, weirder things have happened. Alright. That's a dong-dong right there, yes. Ah! I nearly jumped out of my skin there. How could Mr. Windybank set such a wicked trap? I doubt he set out to scare anyone. Is that really the time? I think perhaps we should pay Gina another visit soon. Oh. Her trial is tomorrow. We must establish whether or not you will be defending her. I think we should ask her one more time. She may have changed her mind. We already have the paperwork, yeah? Isn't that good enough? Don't you remember, Bruno? You told her she could rip up representative papers if she didn't want you to be her lawyer. Really? Did I say that? Yes, you did. The deadline for submitting the paperwork is fast approaching. In that case, we had better hurry back to the prison and talk to Gina again. What was the point of getting the name on it anyway if she can just like... Ugh. Blah. Come on. Dear Gina, please don't be a moron. 16th of April, 5:41 p.m., local prison, cell 13. Ah, Gina, good, you're back. Ah! Dot. There's a lot of that in this one. The police must have finished questioning her then. Oh, how was it, Ginny? Was it awful? Didn't bother me. Thank you for the papers you signed before. It meant we were able to investigate at Windybanks. Oh, right. Don't you want to know how we got on? We've been ever so busy. What's the point in asking? Won't change what everyone's saying, that I did it. That's not... Gina, we came to ask you for your final decision. What decision? About tomorrow's trial. Will you let me defend you or not? I must submit the paperwork now if you'd like Miss Naruhodo to represent you. Right, I see. She's really lost her fight all of a sudden. But I know what that feels like. The worry is just so hard to bear. What we've uncovered. Alright then, blimey, give it a rest with them eyes, Iris. So come on then, fill us in. Who done it? Unfortunately, we don't know that yet. You don't say. We don't know yet, Gina. But Mr. Naruhodo and all of us know that you are innocent of this crime. And while we haven't yet managed to work out who the real culprit is, there are a number of interesting facts that we have managed to establish. Oh yeah? Like what? Well, for example, the reason for you being there in the first place. I think I know why you broke into Windybanks that night. It looks like I'm going to have to take some evidence that clearly reveals the reason. And thrust it in Gina's face, or I could present it to her calmly, I suppose. Alright, representation in court. Let's ask about that first. Because I think that bit can change if I present stuff, and I want to hear her dialogue. We already have the representation papers and other documents we need. All we have to do is hand them over to the court clerk. That is, if you'll allow me to represent you in court tomorrow. Nah, don't bother. Oh, come on. Ginny. Rip them up and chuck them, would you? Them representation papers or whatever they're called. This cell ain't fancy enough to have a bin. So what will we do in court tomorrow? I'll be fine on my own. I don't think you will be. Look, it don't matter. What's gonna happen is gonna happen. This is one stubborn pickpocket. Okay, so... the box of the pawnbroker stuff. Here, Gina, look at this. No, Tom. I wasn't saying you could have it. Oh, weren't you? When someone says I can't have stuff, it makes me want it, see? So you better hand it over now. No, I'm not giving it to you. Okie dokie. Do you see this pawnbroker's ticket, Gina? It's the one you took to Windy Banks, isn't it? The one for that black overcoat that you're wearing now. Huh? What? That? I don't know. They all look the same to me, those tickets. Surely not. Well, this one has a very obvious mark on it that would appear to be blood. Does that ring any bells? I don't know. It all looks the same to me, blood. And they all sound the same to me, these answers. Suspicious. Iris' story manuscript. We found this in Mr. Windybank's storeroom. The manuscript of Iris' latest story. Ah! Oh, right. Well, that's good then. Curiously, the storeroom at Windybank showed no sign of being ransacked for items of value or the like. With one exception. The box file that housed this manuscript. It was you, wasn't it, Gina, who broke open the box containing this manuscript last night? Huh? You were determined to find out whether or not the Hound of the Baskervilles was really there. That's the real reason you broke into the storeroom last night, isn't it? Ah! Can you see through that hat still? Conveniently placed the buttons right there to just like... Why don't you tell us what happened, please? Alright. Alright, yeah. This Baskervilles story, it's the latest Sholmes adventure, right? But it ain't been printed yet. So I figured it's gotta be worth a fair pieces of silver, right? Oh yes, at least 5,000 pounds. What? So you intended to sell Iris' manuscript, did you? No, Ginny, how could you? What? Wait, no, hang on. Of course I weren't gonna sell it. All I wanted to do was find out if the manuscript or whatever you call it really was there or not. That's the only reason I was in the place. For Iris' sake. Isn't that right? Ah. We knew why you'd done it from the start, Gina. Of course we did. But... I knew you wouldn't do anything mean like that, Ginny. I just knew it. Well, when I saw the manuscript in the storeroom, it reminded me of what you'd said the night before. Grown-ups do a lot of worse than that, believe me. Bare-faced liars, a lot of them. You just ain't realized it yet. I'm telling you, that Manuscript aimed at Windybanks, you'd soon see if you had a look. If I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley is telling me the truth sometimes. I mean that I sometimes wonder if he might have hidden my manuscript somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong of me to doubt him. Oh, Ginny, that was so sweet of you. Alright, alright. I'll tell you why I did it. Just stop looking at me like that, Iris. Alright, reason for breaking in. It weren't because of Iris, that's not why I did it. I just wanted to know the truth, that's all. He wanted to know if Mr. Sholmes was being honest, if he'd really deposited the manuscript to Windybanks. It's like I told you the night before. I never had a father. But Iris's lot ain't like mine. She's got her dad, only she can't see him. See about that, the only way Iris can see her dad is in heaven. That dad is super duper dead. Sorry. I kind of thought it was obvious, but apparently it was not. And I reckon that's gotta be harder. That's why she writes the stories. They're about her dad, really. That's what it sounded like to me, anyway, last night when I was listening to what you were saying. Stories about Daddy? You mean they're not the adventures of a great detective, so much as the adventures of a great detective and his trusty partner? Well, that's how I see it, yeah. You're so thoughtful and so kind, Ginny. Yes, and we never thought any differently, did we? Look, give it a rest, will ya? I hate all this chummy nonsense. Do you hear? I hate it. I don't trust no one, right? That's how I work. Because if you don't trust no one can let you down. So leave me alone. Go on, Scarper. I hadn't noticed until now, but it's unmistakable. Yeah, I was wondering about the sleeves, like, what's the brown stuff for? Like, I almost thought they might be like shackles, but why bother in a, like, she's in a cell anyway? So what's with those? Are some very suspicious red stains. More like brown stains, but again, blood does turn brown over time, so... What? Why look at me like that? I think it might be worth presenting some of our other findings in that area to Gina now. Alright. The blood sample portfolio. Those stains on the sleeves of your new coat, Gina. They're blood, aren't they? Not that I know whose blood yet. What? But blood, Mr. Naruhodo? You don't appear to have any obvious wounds yourself, though. So could it be blood that spattered from Mr. Windybank when he was shot last night? Let's not beat around the bush here. This trusty friend of mine will get the results much faster than anything else. Yep, that's how you win back the trust of a pickpocket girl. Just shoot her with a gas grenade launcher. It's fine. It's gonna be great. Yeah, sure. Huh? Take it easy, Iris. Don't move, Ginny. I'm going to shoot. Whoa. Oh. Purple being... Mason? Right, so McGilded was wearing that coat when... Yeah, that does make sense. Really old blood, but yeah, okay. Why did the pawnbroker... I guess the pawnbroker wouldn't ask questions then? But it's still pretty weird that a pawnbroker would accept a bloody overcoat. Like a very bloody overcoat. Alright. That's proper weird. Oh my. My thoughts exactly. What the... Yeah, that is the good old thrice-fired Mason. Forget the sleeves. The whole coat is covered in blood. Of course! The black color of the fabric was black? More like a brown color, but alright. Masking the stains, that's why we haven't seen them until now. And the blood has reacted with a chemical to turn a purple color, which matches one of the samples we've already collected perfectly. Yes, now let's see. Who had the purple blood? Aha, yes, it was the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, the victim of the murder case 2 months ago. I knew it. Did you? What do you all want about the victim? What do you mean? It's a rather uncomfortable situation, Mr. Naruhodo, but I think this makes things quite clear. It means the omnibus case is finally solved. The truth about who really murdered the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, is revealed. Oi! Will someone explain what's going on? Stop telling half a story. Iron Imp, hi! Welcome. Gonna be learning more to offer salutations. Hey, salutations are always super welcome and lurking also extremely appreciated. And I hope you have a comfortable lurk. And I hope you've had an excellent day and all that good stuff as well, Iron Imp, and glad to have you lurking as well. The truth of the omnibus case. Let's go. We can see now that the victim's blood is all over Mr. McGilded's overcoat. But in the trial 2 months ago, the defendant said this in his testimony. Now I ask you, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? Wasn't about to start worrying about my gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. But if you look at this overcoat now, it's clear. These stains couldn't have arisen from McGilded trying to pull the victim to his feet. No, if that was what had really happened, the blood wouldn't have splashed all over the front of the coat. The only explanation for this pattern of blood is that it splattered over McGilded's coat when he stabbed the victim in the stomach. I've tried to run from the truth long enough, but there's no escaping it now. The true culprit in that case, Mr. Mason's killer, was Magnus McGilded. Mr. Naruhodo, that horrible case is solved at last, and I helped the man walk free from that trial. I used all that twisted testimony and all that sham evidence to prove his innocence. How could I have let that happen? Runo, did you believe him though? Did you believe Mr. McGilded was innocent? I believed. Or rather, I think I was trying to believe. I wanted to. Because believing in those you represent in court is a defense lawyer's greatest weapon. I still doubt that, and I believe, again, I want to say it was Legal Eagle who said that that's not really necessarily the case. A weapon? And the way he put it made sense to me, so yeah. Before we came to Great Britain, a great friend of mine taught me a valuable lesson. You mean Kazuma-sama? Yes, and then his assistant taught me that apparently assault is okay if it's done to me. Because that's what Susato did to me multiple times over. Somehow that was okay, which I am still quite salty about. Just, you know, just so we're clear on that point. Listen, Ruinosuke. We lawyers are only human. We can't know for sure what is the truth and what is a lie. Which is why we must resort to our primary weapon. An unwavering belief in our clients. That's all we really have. Unwavering belief? Only when we truly believe what our clients tell us can we fight with everything we have for their cause. In any battle, there can be no victory without faith. So I believe you, unwaveringly. Hehe. What's funny, Gina? Course, sounds like in this Empire of Japan you come from, everyone must be soft. Well, come on. Look at the mess it's got you into, believing in that bog trotter. Yes, I inadvertently helped a murderer walk free. Well, at least you've learned your lesson now, huh? Believing in people's never worth it. Someone always stabs you in the back in the end. As soon as you let down your guard, you've had it. Take a leaf out of my book. Believe no one, get hurt by no one. Gina, may I ask you something? What? I'd just like to make absolutely sure. What would you like us to do with these representation papers for tomorrow's trial? How many times do I have to say it? Rip him up and chuck him away. Are you really sure that's what you want? I bet that's what he wants and all now. Mr. I'm a believer lawyer over there. Don't forget it was me in that trial 2 months ago. I led everyone up the garden path, didn't I? And you're telling me you can believe in me after that? Not like... She was coerced and forced to say that stuff, though. That's kinda different. Well, Mr. Naruhodo? A lawyer's primary weapon is unwavering belief in his clients. Ultimately, it comes down to whether or not I feel I can trust Gina after everything that's happened. You're asking the wrong question. Do I trust her unwaveringly as a person? No. Do I trust her in the sense that do I trust that she didn't do the murder? Yes. So, you know, but I think they want me to say this thing. Yeah. Gina, let me say it again. Please allow me to represent you in tomorrow's trial. Huh? Are you half-baked? No, I like all of my food well done. Yes, thank you. Not at all. You've not once admitted to committing the crime, have you? What's more, I believe that you're telling me the truth. Seriously, Mr. Naruhodo? Didn't you hear all of what I said before? I'm a born liar. Fibs just trip off me tongue. I'm a diver, don't forget. Well, maybe you can dive for some pearls of truth. Yes, that sounds like a plan, right? Pearls of truth diving. It'll be fun, I promise. I pulled the wool over your eyes 2 months ago and got you into all sorts of trouble. Why would you ever trust me now? I just don't get it. Gina. I do understand why you choose not to put your trust in others. But I assure you, there is more to this life than you yet realize. What do you mean? The world we live in is full of people you would do very well to trust. People who won't ever let you down. Huh? It's true that I'm just a student of law, and I'm certainly lacking in courtroom experience, but I can promise you this. Whatever happens, and until my very last breath, I'm completely on your side. What do you expect me to say to that? Then it's decided. I will take these papers now and carry out the necessary preparations for tomorrow's trial. It would be a shame to throw them away now after it's been penned with your name so beautifully. Do what you like. You Eastern lot are... I don't know what you are. I don't get you. Okie dokie. Gina's taken herself off the back of her cell. Off to the back of her cell. She'd never admitted, but I hope she's feeling relieved. That turned out alright in the end, I think. We still have the actual trial to do, but you know details, right? Which, again, I have no idea how many hours it is, but it sounds like it's gonna be a long one. Whoever's hiding there, show yourself at once. Eavesdropping is the height of cowardice. Mrs. Sato? Somebody's in there in the shadows, I can sense it. Somebody who wasn't there before. Is Susato the secret censor of the ninja? Is that where we're at now? What? Blimey, you're sharp, eh? What, Gregson? Hi. I suppose you were using one of those mystic Japanese arts, like the art of stealth I've heard so much about. If anyone was being stealthy, it was you, Inspector. Grexy? Oh dear me, I am most terribly sorry, your ladyship. I didn't mean to startle you. How long have you been listening in our conversation? Good grief, listening in? No. I just got word that there were some visitors who were refusing to leave even though it was after hours. I assure you, your ladyship, I only just arrived. This is very minute, not a moment earlier. This very minute, right? That's all it is, nothing untoward, nothing at all. After hours? Is it that late already? So then, I'll humbly excuse myself now, your ladyship. Ta-ta, toodaloo, cheerio! All the best, bye and bye-bye. That's a lot of farewells, and not one of them appropriate for her ladyship. Oh, but I wanted to have a chat. I'm terribly sorry, but time is pressing at the minute. Oh, I see. That's a shame. If I don't get this emergency at the Supreme Court dealt with sharpish, Lord Strongheart will, well... Emergency? Lord Strongheart? Nothing! Forget I said anything. Anyway, I'm off. Alright, Grexy, if you have to. But let's chat soon. Delighted. Charmed. Can't wait. If you please, my pleasure. That's a lot of pleasantries, and not one of them sounded sincere. Alrighty then. Grexy's so funny. He says such silly things. That silly things is right. It's certainly entertaining to see an inspector of the police fawning to a 10-year-old girl. There is that, yes. But anyway, I wonder what that emergency is at the Supreme Court. Good question. I must attend to the court's clerk's office now before it closes. Yes, of course. Thank you, Mrs. Sato. Kindly escort Iris home now, Mr. Naruhodo. I shall meet you there later. Captain Brody, hi, welcome. Glad to have you here and hope you've had an excellent day. And so our investigation came to an end. Sato-san went to file the necessary papers for my defense of Gina the following day. And then it hit me. I could no longer suppress the wretched feeling that had been gnawing away at my insides. Woke up a little while ago. Hey, waking up is just, you know, that just means that the day has been fine so far, maybe. Tomorrow, Sato-san would be leaving Britain and making her way back to Japan. 16th of April, 11:13 p.m. Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy. Naruhodo-san, it's been a very trying day, hasn't it? I do hope you're not too exhausted. What about you, Sato-san? Today has been even more trying for you, I'm sure. Hope you're doing well. I don't know how to answer that question. Not great, but you know, focusing on the positive, right? Mr. Sholmes was shot before our eyes. Gina was arrested. All on the back of the news that her father has fallen ill and that she must return to Japan at once. I hope your father recovers soon. Thank you for your kind words. I wonder why it is that so many thoughts rage in my head like a storm, and yet I seem unable to find the words to express any of them. Well, number one, you're leaving to Japan tomorrow. How about you tell how you knew the name of the story that's unpublished, that, like, it would, like, maybe give some, you know, sense of, like, peace for, at least for Iris, who wrote the story. Like, that's really weird and seems oddly selfish in a weird way. I mean, you are the person who assaults people by throwing them around because you feel like it, so I guess she is selfish when she feels like... I don't... It's weird. I know exactly what you mean. Anyway, I have one final task to complete as your judicial assistant. Could you tell me how you knew the name of the story? Once that is done, I shall make preparations for my departure tomorrow. One final task. Okie dokie. So back to Japan. It's just 2 months since we arrived in London, but we've managed to establish this office. It was finally feeling as though we're settling in. I'd be lying if I said I felt no regret. I'm so sorry, Susato-san. It's just so sudden. I really don't know what to think. I have had no time to gather my thoughts. I know we've only been here a short time, but in my limited experience of the courtroom, I feel I've learned something. And what would that be? That the judicial system is broken? It seems to me that there are many facets to people's personalities. Facets? And like a jewel, the light plays off them in a complex patterns illuminating their actions and their motives. But we only see a small number of the total facets, and what is illuminated is only a part of the whole story. Typos, what lies in the shadows? What do those facets we cannot see look like? Perhaps there are some parts we'll never lay eyes on for as long as we live. Sounds like a plan. That's so true. Sometimes I feel as though I'm blind to so much. But I keep hoping that one day it will all become clear. Well, she's not helping with that one. That all the facets will be illuminated, and I'll finally understand how everything fits together. Naruhodo-san, I suppose what matters is that we keep our eyes open and keep moving forward, even if the way sometimes seems dark. It's amazing to think it's just been 2 months. You've grown so much. Sorry? I've what? Like, grabs the tape measuring like, huh? You know. Oh no, it was nothing. Unimportant. Okay, tomorrow's departure. Do you know what time you will leave London in the morning? Yes, I picked up my ticket earlier. Shall be leaving here at 4 AM. I see. Well, I'll escort you to the station. Absolutely not. Sorry? I'm sure you realize why I couldn't possibly let you do that. You have a very important day ahead of you tomorrow. Gina's trial. Yes, I know, but every word you utter will have the potential to determine Gina's fate. You must get as much rest as possible, even though, like me, I'm sure you will find it hard to sleep. But please, for me, do try. Okay, one final task. You mentioned one final task a moment ago. What did you mean? Oh my, I nearly forgot. Please, I want you to have this. What is that? Some huge bundle of documents? It's my notes from the case 2 months ago. The murder that was committed on the omnibus. The McGilded case. It seems to me that this case of Mr. Windybank's murder, of which Gina is accused, is very much tied up with that omnibus case in ways that are not yet completely apparent. So I took the liberty of consolidating my writings about the case for you. With everything else she's had to think about, Susato-san still managed to do this, and all neatly laid out for me in her beautiful handwriting. It was my pleasure. I can only hope that it will bolster your case tomorrow for Gina. Thank you so much, Susato-san. I will do my best to use it wisely. You really are the best judicial assistant in the world. Although, the assaults do hurt, mind you, just so we're clear, yes? Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure. Explain. Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said there. Oh, ignore me. Just mumbling to myself. Is that like Kazuma's death, or is it like something else? Notes collated by Miss Sato about the McGilded case that we worked on 2 months ago. Right. Well, it's getting rather late. I think you should go to bed now, Naruhodo-san. Explain why you knew the story's name, come on! I must finish packing up my things in my room. So, Sato-san, I wish you the very best of luck tomorrow. Good night. Wait, there's something I need to say. Again, the assaults hurt. It's not cute. It is not cute. That's like 15 assaults that she's committed. I think she should, instead of going to Japan, be maybe, you know, serve hard time for those. That's not cute. I don't find that funny. I just don't. A secret technique of mine, the Susato shutdown. Shutdown? Please, I implore you. If we have to voice our goodbyes, I won't be able to hold back my tears. So instead she'll assault me and throw me across the room as always. That's lovely. Susato-san. Like, it just isn't cute. It just isn't. It truly had been a trying day. On our feet for hours, getting Gina to open up to us and learning the truth about that nemesis of a case. Physically and mentally, I was exhausted, and yet the idea of sleep seemed impossible. But I forced myself to close my eyes, and as a cacophony of scenes of our lives here in London played through my mind, eventually, my fatigue triumphed and I fell into a deep sleep. And I slept too long and the trial happened before me and the end. Bye. To be continued? Nope, not yet. 17th of April, the small hours. Alright. Saint Sinners Hospital Ward 3. Yes, I quite understand. That is a great weight off my mind. Rest assured, I shall put everything in place exactly as we have discussed. Thank you so much. It has been an honor and a pleasure to be acquainted with you, Mr. Sholmes. On the contrary, the pleasure has been mine. I bid you farewell, and Godspeed. Okay, so who could he be talking to? Like, that would, like, be really shocking, like the Judge, or Van Zeeks, or McGilded, or... you know. Ah, or her. My dear madam. To be continued. In a weird way, I would have somehow made, like, I don't know. For a hot second, I wondered if it was Van Zeeks, but alright. Cool. So, that's that bit done, and I'll have a bit of an eating break, but I will continue streaming. But if you are watching this on YouTube, this will be a good stopping point, as per usual, because intermission, right? So if you are watching this on YouTube, I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you have, please do drop a like. It would really, really make my day. And if you want to see more, subscribe to see more. And I hope the content has been fun enough to make perhaps an inkling of a consideration of perhaps doing that. So and join me here live on Twitch if you feel like it, because it's hopefully fun to watch me bumble around like a moron and talk my way through these things. But hey, have a good one, and hopefully I'll see you in the next part of this case, continuing from where we left off then. So have a good one, and bye-bye.